right? We introduced these three categories of environments, and then the organization and then the environment kind of directly interact. The environment will affect the organization. All right, we will talk about three different effects. The first effect is how the environmental change and then the complexity will affect the company. And then the second one, we will choose one component from the task environment, which is the competitive. Actually, when you talk about competitive forces, we can also change it to the economic forces, right? Because competitive forces are one subtopic of the economics. And then the third one, the third factor, the third effect will be the environmental turbulence. All right, so the first one is the environmental change and the complexity. Define the environment, whether this environment is simple or complex, whether it is stable or dynamic. This diagram will help us to understand. We talk about the degree of change or volatility, right? Stable, not stable, right? Fluctuated. One quick example is the energy market, right? The energy market. What changed a lot? Price, right? But there are also other situations where change. But generally, once we talk about the change, the volatility, if your company is having some, like imports, or let's say that engaged into the energy, this business, that means this is very volatile. At least the price is very volatile. But thinking about this, the market is a simple market. It is a very complex market. I would say like most of the time, agricultural commodities, we can see that the market is comparatively simple. Energy is moderate uncertainty. We are facing the moderate uncertainty for the company. Without the recent pandemic, I would say agricultural commodity, they are more like a low uncertainty. This environment is comparatively simple, right? Production, export, import, the price the price is within a certain range, okay? It's low uncertainty. Let's talk about the other things. The high uncertainty, all right? It moves away. The business in the environment is very, very, all right, complex. And then it is very volatile. Why I'm laughing, right? So since our Chinese government, they started this zero COVID policy, everything become very high uncertain, very highly uncertain. See the demand and supply being disrupted. And then uncertainty means we don't know whether the lockdown, right, caused a lot of things. People were losing their job, they don't have money, right? And then a lot of things we don't know yet. But anyway, you try to understand one direction. This is about the complexity. One direction is about the volatility, right? So the market will affect our organization not the market, the environment will affect us. The second effects will be we call this is the competitive force, right? Competitive forces. So I try to, summarize this in a simple, like a concept. We introduce you this Porter's 5 competitive forces, like when we assessing the environments, right? So we focus on in this case, it's the competitive or the competition, right, forces. I would say economics. There will be something related to the competitors. For example, potential competitors, they are the new entrants, right? How many of them? Whether they will come immediately. Recently, I would say EV, electric vehicles, potential competitors, they are trying to enter the market, right? So Tesla probably is still the most popular one, but there are many companies ready. Rivalries, those are the existing competitors, easy to understand. Substitute products. So let me use the EV again. So for the traditional car, those EVs are the substitutes for those traditional cars, right? But I would also tell you one thing about the HV, hydrogen vehicle. But the HV, what is the hydrogen? From where? Water, totally different from EV. Let's see in 10, 20 years, all right? And then there will be other forces like a power of buyer, power of supplier. This buyer can be your customer, right? It might not be the end user, right? It can be some companies. If you produce, let's say that the meat product, Walmart, Publix, they can be your buyers, right? They have the power. They can negotiate. They can ask you to give them the big discount, right? And then also there will be supplier, who provides you the products, the imports, right? The imports product, with energy provider, and then also like a raw material, whatever. So they can also squeeze your profit. You needed to understand those forces. The very last one is about the, let's say, the turbulence, the environmental turbulence. Let's say that the disruptions. So I would say that the pandemic can be one. The natural disasters, hurricanes, those are all like will affect our operation. Once you get into a company, you need to to figure out whether your company has this crisis plan or not. They should have somewhere written. Can be one of the SOPs. All right. If you encountered this flood, what you do? Once you encountered the fire, what you do? All right. Honestly, they said that like many company or less than half of the company in the United States, they don't have this, this emergency plan. Pandemic, even our country, the US, we didn't have that plan before the pandemic. We have some plan, but I think we were not ready for this pandemic. All right, the very last slide, we talk about how the organization should react to the environment or to react to the environment changes due to different forces, different problems, different challenges. Then our organization should be ready. Right? So I just try to summarize this into internally how we do, externally how we do. Okay, internally we should facilitate very good information management system. Okay, or MIS, management information system. Okay, so that means we needed to collect as quick as possible this information and then analyze and then develop the plan, okay, to handle those environmental changes, general environment, task environment, or the internal, actually information management, including the internal, right, the organizational change as well, or the structure change. We will have internally, we will develop the strategic change or the strategic planning, right, to handle those environmental change. There will be the structure change. Usually we talk about hire less people or lay off people. Sorry to say that, all right? This becomes the trend or the pattern. Every time you have those changes, you will see cost saving will be one of the topics. Those are externally. We can choose like purchasing other company, right? Because we want to extend our supply chain, handle buyer, handle supplier, become your own buyer, become your company's own supplier. This is why many big companies, they extend their supply chain. They started to purchase the product directly from the farmers. They sell the product, they get rid of the middleman. They sell the product directly to the end user. Walmart, right? Walmart is not a grocery chain. Let me tell you, Walmart is a supply chain, or you can call it is a logistic company. Try to think about this. They just built the supply chain, farm to fork. Always we say F to F, farm to fork. I know that the business, I know that industry very well, so that's why. So externally, we also needed to play our role. There is additional topic we call it social responsibility. But again, I personally would see this is the public relation. If you want me to further, I would call this government relation. The very last one, the direct influence of the environment. This is somehow how the company can influence the environment. We have mentioned about the customer, we have mentioned about the supplier, right? So, but also you see, we can create, let's say, products. We can also try to change the consumers' purchasing habits, right? We can directly or we can contribute. If our company is big enough, we can somehow inversely affect the market, right? Monopoly, right? So somehow when we talk about the crude oil or energy company, they actually directly influence the environment. Lower their supply, the energy price go up. Together with inflation, this is what you see now. Okay. Although we can talk about something regarding the pollution, but we will leave it later. All right, we leave it later.